Hello, Abnormal Family. This will be my first Saturday drop. I've never dropped a video in the morning, and we want to do a Saturday drop. So we're going to see how this does, and if it continues to work, we'll do an early morning Saturday drop. What I've got is a person sent me three Oklahoma encounters by Dogmen. I ain't going to lie, they're pretty creepy. Um, but as you all know, I've had an encounter with dogmen on several occasions, and these really caught my attention. And being in the state of Oklahoma, they really grabbed my attention. So let's get into these stories. The first one we have is in Pottawatomie County, Oklahoma. Back in the early 90s, when I was 19 or so, I worked nights unloading trucks at a chain retail department store, back before they turned into superstores. Anyway, several people started to notice that a coworker looked like she wasn't getting any sleep. One night, she told a few of us on our break that she was having to leave early and take the long way to work and back home because of something she saw. She previously always took a road called Moccasin Trail, but one night, the week before, while turning onto the road, on her way to work, she said she saw a huge werewolf sitting in the grass, just watching cars go by. She said she had seen it on 4 or 5 occasions and just couldn't take it anymore. She said she was scared this thing was going to follow her, so she just completely avoided the road altogether. The way she described the sighting was when she would turn onto this road, her headlights would light up the embankment across the road, just enough so that she could see this big werewolf sitting about 30 feet up on the embankment. She said it would sit there in the grass with its legs stretched out in front of itself. She said it would most often be leaning back, supporting itself on one or both of its elbows, in a kind of leisurely pose, just watching the cars pass by. She really seemed to be sincerely disturbed by her encounter. Over the years, I've heard several stories about strange happenings in that area. The Native Americans talked about shapeshifters in that area. I don't know if that has anything to do with the girl's sightings or not. I just thought it was worth mentioning. There is scary things in these woods, and I think people need to be aware. Tulsa, Oklahoma, February 16th, 2023. I heard my dog barking and growling around 3 o'clock a.m. one night. I got up and went to our back door to see what she was barking at. When I did, I saw her running up and down the backyard fence line, barking, growling, and urinating, all along the fence, with her tail tucked between her back legs. My first thought was predator. I knew something was wrong. I focused my eyes to see if I could see what she was barking at. I saw something bent over in a circle that was black and looked like it had a mane like a lion. I looked at it for about 15 seconds and decided to run to one of the bedrooms to get my head wrap light. I put it on my head and I ran back to the den and saw that it was still there. I carefully turned on the light and shined it right on it. When I did it, it turned around and looked in my direction. Then it ran down the fence line, with a smaller one in front of it. The best way I can describe it would be to say that it was the size of a lion. It had yellow eyes, pointed ears, huge shoulders, and a huge chest. It ran on all fours. Also, this thing was so fast it only took it about 2 seconds to run down the fence line. This, I guess you would say, wolf, was way faster than my dog. I woke up my wife and told her what had just happened. And then we went to the computer and Googled huge wolves in America under images. I found a cartoon drawing someone had did, and the mane, and it looked just like what I saw. They were calling it a Dogman. I have no doubt in my mind this is what was outside tormenting my dog. Cleveland County, Oklahoma. I've been up all night at my friend's house in the town of Tribby playing video games. I didn't want to sleep there, so I said goodbye and headed home. I knew my car was making a funny noise, but I thought surely I would get home. Well, I was driving down the long dark stretch of highway with nothing but forest and a few sparse country houses. I was coming up on the top of a hill when suddenly my car stops pulling forward. The engine revved, but no gears would engage. My CV joint just went out. I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Well, I had no way of getting home, so I backed up down the road in neutral and off into the side of the road. I thought about staying and sleeping in the car, but something told me not to do that. I had an eerie feeling of being watched, so I grabbed my video game case and my machete, and I made my way from the lawnmower blade and started walking. I kept noticing the feeling of being watched, and I felt like I was being followed. I kept looking behind me and saw nothing, but when the car passed by, heading in the direction behind me, it illuminated the area with its headlights, and I saw something behind me. In the ditch, hunched down, low. It was huge, and I could tell it looked animal, but it also had humanoid features. It seemed to have the arms, but its head was most definitely canine. Its head was very large and its eyes glowed red. When the lights hit them, well, I've seen enough werewolf movies to know that this wasn't good. So I started running. That probably wasn't the best choice because I know the predators like to chase things that run from them. When the car had passed, the creature had darted into the trees. I thought that it was the best time to run. So I did, and I ran for about a quarter of a mile, and I looked back and didn't see anything. I kept walking, well, kept checking behind me on and off the side of the road, and when I looked in the tree line, I could see it following me, walking bipedally. I was afraid. I was also prepared to defend myself with a machete if need be. I came up onto another hill and saw a farmhouse off in the distance to my left. Down a long dirt driveway, the moon was almost full, and the area around the house was clear, but the moon wasn't completely full, so I didn't have the light that I wish I would have. So I could see the guy out there messing with his truck. I walked by. Then he turned and spotlighted his truck and spotted me with it. I kept talking because his property said no trespassing, and many out there wouldn't hesitate to unload on a stranger. I knew it was close again, possibly closer now than it was about to turn around and face it with another car over the top of the hill and past me, going behind me again. I followed with my eyes and noticed this time the cop. So thinking quickly, I dropped my machete on the edge of the grass and I waved. As he passed, his lights hit the ditch as well, and I saw the dogman was very close, but it darted into the trees again and with the light hit it. Thankfully, a moment later, the cop stopped and turned around. He came back and asked me what I was doing out there. So I told him what happened with my car and didn't mention the dogman. He may have thought I was crazy. I asked him for a ride home. He agreed, wanting to go check to make sure my car wasn't blocking the road. After we checked it, he agreed to take me home. I don't know what would have happened to me that night if the officer had not arrived. I believe it was hunting him, guys. What do you think would have happened to him that night? Do you think it would have took him down? Do you think it was going to kill him? Was it going to do to him what happened to Brenda Hamilton, where they have found him in a ditch somewhere? It seems these things follow the roads and they follow the creeks. If you break down at night, guys, you may not be safe on the road because I think they follow the ditches and follow the roads. What do you think? Do you believe they follow these old roads just looking for somebody that just might be an opportunity? Let me know what you think in the description. Thank you for watching, guys. Keep your head on a swivel, and until next time, don't be something's dinner.